Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Do you know what I'm talking about?
This is that YouthSpin show. This is that YouthSpin show. This is that YouthSpin show.
Good evening, Anguilla, and welcome to the 8th edition of YouthSpin. I am your host, Jarvis, aka Mr. Controversy, and with me tonight is Radio Rebel. Tonight's topic is tourism. Where do we see it in the future? And Radio Rebel, take it.
Good evening, radio listeners. And tonight we will be talking about tourism, the future of tourism, in celebration of Tourism Week, under the theme Sustainable Practices for Significant Growth. And we will be discussing Anguilla from a youth perspective. We have 4 lovely guests with us, and I will introduce them after our short dance break. Okay, and we're back. Before I go on, let me give you a little bit of information as to the guests we have here with us this evening. First of all, we have Mistress Shellecia Brooks-Johnson, passionately Anguillan and wholeheartedly optimistic. Shellecia loves working with young people, teaching professional development courses, reading, traveling, and blogging. She puts her degrees and experience in tourism to good use as the face and co-owner of the blog MyAnguillaExperience.com, which captures experiences in Anguilla from a local perspective. Nice to meet you, Ms. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. And we have Ambassador Clemvio Hodge. He has recently completed his 6th form education. He has now moved on to become the editor and layout designer of What We Do in Anguilla magazine, Anguilla's official island guide magazine. He is also the public relations officer of the National Youth Council and a CARICOM Youth Ambassador. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Okay. We have Miss Nori Evoy.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
She is originally from Montreal. Her first visit to Anguilla was in 2002. She started AnguillaBeaches.com in 2002 as well on her second trip for 1 month in August. The whole family left Canada in 2008 to move to Anguilla. She went to school from 2009 to 2012 for entrepreneurship at Baruch in New York City, while still maintaining the website. She moved back to Anguilla in 2012 to grow AnguillaBeaches.com full-time. Today, it is the most trafficked site about Anguilla. Nori also employs young interns from ALHCS and provides them with learning experiences, doing blogging and web design. Pleased to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And finally, we have Miss Arielle Gaskin. She's a present 5th form student of the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School. She was appointed Deputy Junior Minister of Tourism from 2012 to 2014. This year, she was promoted to Junior Minister of Tourism, and this position extends to 2015. She traveled to Martinique in 2013 to observe her colleague, Mr. Malik Richard, the previous junior Minister of Tourism, compete in the Regional Caribbean Tourism Organization's Junior Ministers Competition. Arielle competed this year and placed third in the region, closely following the islands of St. Lucia and Nevis. Additionally, along with some of her colleagues, she represented Anguilla in July at the National Association of Black Hotel Owners, Operators, and Developers held in Miami, Florida. Nice to meet you, Ms. Gaskin.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, now I'll turn back over to my co-host and we'll get this discussion started.
Okay, so tonight's discussion is going to just be a discussion. We're not going to separate it. It's not structured. So if you can answer a question, just go ahead and answer it. So the first one, and these questions were pulled from amongst youth in discussion think tanks. Do you think Anguilla provides a high-end tourism product?
And that one means to anyone. Anyone can answer.
Who wants to get in there and answer that one?
I think we tended to market Anguilla as a high-end tourism product. Whether or not we are totally high-end is questionable.
We know what we market it as. Do you
Correct.
think we provide? Do you remember the question was, do you think Anguilla
Yes, I know the question.
provides
Thank
a
you so much,
high-end
Jarvis.
tourism product?
Yes. So I
You
do
think
think we
we
have
do?
some aspects of high-end tourism, but it's not across the tourism plant. So I think in terms of some of our hotels and some of our restaurants, they are high-end. They can be considered luxury, high-end, etc. But when it comes to other hotels, or when it comes to our service, or when it comes to how clean we keep Anguilla, all of those different aspects which make up our tourism product and our tourism plant, we cannot be considered high-end.
Anybody else want to add something to that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that we definitely are a high-end product, or destination. I mean, especially when you consider the percentage of hotels and villas that we have that are in a high-end bracket compared to other islands, on a percentage basis. I think that we could do more to market our properties that are in the more of the mid-range, because there's so many affordable properties. So a lot of people think that Anguilla is too expensive to vacation to because it's marketed purely as high-end, but there's an opportunity here to market to people who aren't necessarily, in that top 1%, because people can afford it. Most people can afford it who are living in the United States and, those places. So I think it is high-end, but we have the opportunity to market to everybody.
Okay, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Ms. Gaskin, do you think school children believe Anguilla provides high-end tourism? Because that's a good question. What do the children view Anguilla as?
I think that the children, I'm speaking on behalf of the LACS, but I do think that they think that Anguilla provides high-end tourism. However, I don't think they know enough about our middle-range products, such as places like La View and Lides Bed and Breakfast. I don't think they know that we have mid-range places that their friends from other islands or their family members can visit. So I think that they think it's mainly high-end tourism, but they don't know a lot about our mid-range tourism product.
So what I'm hearing from the guest though is we find opportunity in marketing as a mid-range product as well,
Yes.
instead of just high-end.
And even at the mid-range, I was part of a consultation some time ago, and they were saying even though we might have the mid-range and we have the lower properties, they can still be considered, we can still brand them as high, as luxury, as quality. But of course, they still will not be considered high-end in the traditional sense, but we can still brand them as a quality product.
Okay, because when we were looking in the eyes of the future of tourism and what we would like to see shape like in the future, so as we know now, we're solely being marketed as a high-end product and nothing else. So we see opportunity in the low-end, not even low-end, but mid-range. We don't never want to be considered low-end. I hope not.
No.
Yeah, I think what happened, I was talking with a friend of mine recently who's from Anguilla, and he's lived here for most of his life, and he was explaining to me how tourism sort of started here and why it started the way that it did, where it was sort of high-end but low volume, right? And it made sense for the resources that were available at that time, right? But now that's sort of changed, and we have so many properties in the mid-range, whether it's villas, hotels, inns, bed and breakfast, and also at the lower end, not quality-wise, but just price-wise. And so I think that that's sort of been ignored or maybe overlooked, and yeah, like you said, there's that opportunity.
And attempts have been made to market the mid-range product, and that would have been things like the Charming Escapes collection. And I think we have the opportunity to go back to marketing that mid-range product as something that a lot of people can aspire to if they wanted to vacation in Anguilla.
Okay. So, define Anguilla's tourism product in your opinion. We recently had a consultation with the rebranding of the product, but we just discussed and all agreed that our product cannot be class high-end because there's some, pieces missing. So define it in your own product. If you had to put what we have now into your words, what would you define it as it stands right now, this afternoon before the sunset?
I would still say that it's tranquility wrapped in blue. I mean, I know that can be a little bit of a controversial issue or thing to say right now, considering the rebranding, but I still think of it that way. There's things that that we can improve on, but I think the product is still the same in terms of that it's still a relaxing, beautiful place. The beaches are still, some of the best in the world. People are so warm and friendly and inviting, and I don't know if you went to the rebranding, but they're talking about working the word home into the into. And I think that would be a great thing to add, because when you come here as a visitor, you really do feel at home. It's not like other islands. There's just a certain sense of
a homey feeling.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Well, good evening, listeners. In my opinion, being in the tourism arena with what we do in Anguilla Magazine, looking at the issues from 25 years before, we started out as just beaches, people relaxing on the beaches, and we started having a cover showing a little more to emphasize your carnival, your boat racing, and those other things which we would say make up our tourism product. Is Anguilla does Anguilla provide does the product provide high value high value and with low volume? I would say yes, but we also have a high volume through the day trippers, which we have. I've seen a lot of day trippers coming over for the dolphinarium, and those things contribute to our tourism products. So in my opinion, yes, we have a high value with a low volume, but we also see an increase in day trippers who are increasing the volume. So I'm not sure if that is where we want to go, but I think that is contributing a lot to our tourism product.
Okay. And while we're on the magazine, do you see any opportunities for any things that can be added to our tourism product? Do you see anything lacking from our product as it is now that you think that would be an easy add, an easy addition? Because there was a controversy with the jet ski, the policy. And I think, we're just not prone to change in Anguilla. We really don't like change, or we don't want to see anything change. But do you see anything that could be added to what we have now to improve upon it?
I think once we clearly decide and define what we want our product to be, so if we want to remain tranquility wrapped in blue, if we want to, which I agree with, by the way, I think Anguilla is still this laid back place, that people really love to escape to and still to relax. Yes, they want more activities, but at the end of the day, they still want to come to Anguilla and just interact with the people, sit at the bar and have a drink, and just have a really laid back and enjoyable time without all the hustle and the bustle. So yes, I think that is still our product.
I think that instead of maybe adding things, there's things that can just be enhanced. When you come in through immigration, like if that were just a smoother process without so much paperwork, because so many visitors get so furious with like the two different forms, and you get one form in Marigot, one form when you get to Anguilla. Making those processes smoother, making immigration officers just being a little bit friendlier or nicer or warmer. Things like that, maybe just enhancing certain areas that, could be improved.
And marketing what we already have as well.
What avenues of marketing? Because I know we've spent a lot on marketing in recent years, and I think we've gotten a lot of visibility out there. So what aspects of marketing would you like us to explore?
Well, like Nori said, her website gets tons of hits. It's the most visited website, and Nori covers a lot of the activities and events in Anguilla, but even Nori has been unable to cover everything that is out there.
And that's where you come in.
Yes. And I know, I'm trying to do my part as well, and the tourist board plays its part as well. But, we still have a lot of small businesses who are offering services which a lot of people still don't know about. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about our product, yes, we wanted to add jet skis, but we don't mention as much all the different water sports that are already available out there and what people can still access, and just having that central place where persons can find that information.
It's not even I think that we can explore the caves.
Yes,
the caves
there's
with the hieroglyphics. We can add some tours in there, some guided tours, and you can have bicycle pathways. There's so much different things we can explore. And also when you talk about the jet ski thing, I look at it as a way of kicking the door in, as a way of start to introduce things, and then maybe somebody else might see a little niche that they could get into.
But I think the jet ski thing is just, there's so many other islands that have it, and then you risk losing so much of that tranquil, kind of peaceful.
And finding a place to put it, really, beaches are not our problem. If there's anything that isn't our problem in Anguilla, it should be beaches. We are blessed with, 33, 36? So, beaches of Anguilla.
But I think, just to go back to what you were saying, Shelley, I think that's a really good point about all the local businesses here, like different smaller hotels and restaurants. If they were to start using social media and start, all of them, everybody, and if somebody were to be giving like social media lessons on how to market, because Viceroy does a tremendous job using social media to market Anguilla. When I lived in New York and I would tell people that I live in Anguilla, they would say, "Oh, that's where the Viceroy is." Like more people find out about Anguilla because of Viceroy. Exactly. Yeah. So if there was some kind of way we could do lessons or things like that to teach people how to use social media to get every business online doing that, I think that could be pretty powerful. And I think also if there were just one cohesive marketing message that Anguilla was sending to the world from a government, like an official standpoint, instead of having these two messages, it would probably be better received or stronger. Yeah.
I think Arielle had a comment to make a little while before. You can go ahead.
As it relates to enhancing the tourism product, I believe that we could develop more our experiential tourism. One of the topics at the State of the Industry Conference in St. Thomas held by the CTO was experiential tourism, as it relates to having a more authentic Anguillan experience for our visitors. Sun, sand, and sea will no longer sell us. A lot of places are marketing that, so we have to show how we are different. Things like Festival del Mar, Welch's Village Fest help in experiential tourism, but we can develop it more in terms of like the caves and providing that authentic Anguillan experience at Valley Street Fest. So that's one way we could enhance or improve our tourism products.
I know we were talking about it in Tourism Club, which Arielle is the vice president of, and basically the students got their chance to split up into groups and define what they think Anguilla's tourism product was, and they got to come up with different slogans on what they would do if they were in charge of rebranding. And I don't know if you would like to elaborate on that one anymore.
A lot of the topics are the new slogans that came up related to promoting the arts, Anguilla as an artistic destination, like in terms of our local music and how different it is from some of the other islands. The same topic about the homey feeling that Anguilla provides to our tourists, that was incorporated to their slogans. And actually there was a quite interesting one about technology, that we could actually develop Anguilla as a technological hub in some kind of way. So that's what the children are thinking as it relates to slogans.
I can agree with Arielle with regards to the experiential tourism. We have a project that we like to get started, the Heritage Village in Mimi Bay, which would be like a big bowl that would encompass all our cultural activities and also provide entrepreneurial opportunities for persons to do toy making and go back to the technical vocational area of it as well. And in terms of social media, I can too agree with that, because after I came into the scene for what we do in Anguilla, I created Twitter account, Facebook, in a WordPress blog, and the blog has gotten views from the foundation of the Federation of Russia, Saudi Arabia, and countries all over the world. And I haven't even started for long, and I know the ladies here, they must be getting a lot of views from all over the world too, and persons who are saying good things about Anguilla, and that is the way to go. That is how you create that reach that you want to ensure that the world knows that Anguilla is here.
I'm going to ask a question to all of our guests before we go to our next break. What makes Anguilla unique in its own way? Because we all have had some travel experience, and we've all experienced different products from different countries in the Caribbean. Let's just base it on the Caribbean. Maybe you can even, decide from a wider part of the world. But what makes Anguilla unique, in your opinion? And let's start with Arielle and come down the line, I guess. And even on my co-host.
I have to think about this. Because as a Caribbean region, we all share a similar history, so we have a lot in common. So to be able to differentiate it, you have to think about it a little bit. But I think the people of Anguilla make us unique. We have a very inviting public as it relates to like the tourists and stuff. Our different festivals that we have, our idea of jollification. Like that's something that started in Anguilla that we could tell our tourists about. Things like that. The simple things make Anguilla unique, I guess.
Nori, what do you think makes us unique?
Well, I think, the first couple times I came here, I was a kid, but the thing that really sort of blew you away when you first come here is how beautiful the beaches are, and then you come back a second time and a third time and you meet people and you make friends and you fall in love with the whole country, and I think now the way I feel is just there's no place where I just feel so much at home and so totally relaxed and at ease. Even when I go to St. Martin or Tortola or any other Caribbean island, it's similar. I mean, kind of looks the same. The waters are turquoise, but it just doesn't have that same feeling of just total, just being so peaceful and at home. Yeah.
I like.
A quick comment before we move on, just to expound on what she said. Like, Anguilla doesn't feel fast-paced. It has a slow pace to it. It doesn't feel commercial like some of the other islands may feel. They have the same beaches, the same sand, but they don't have the same pace of life. I think that also makes Anguilla different.
Well, in my opinion, I've traveled a little, not as much as the ladies we have here, but I've been to Miami, and they say a lot about Miami is so beautiful and everything, but for some reason I think that the sun there is much hotter than Anguilla, even though we all complain. And I agree with the peaceful feeling that we have in Anguilla. It's slow pace, kick back. You wake up and the breeze is in your hair. The breeze has this crisp freshness to it instead of like an industrial exhaust kind of heaviness on your chest when you breathe in. We are all and what causes us to have so many repeat tourists is the relationship they build with the persons they come into contact with. And you may say that persons come back for the structural building of a resort, but not because it's beautiful. It's because of the relationships they build with the people who operate these resorts, the maids, the cooks. They are the persons who really create the atmosphere that the tourists enjoy. So what makes Anguilla different to other countries, I would say, is really the people and the relationships built, and that's how I feel about it.
I think my colleagues have expressed very well what makes Anguilla unique, and I would just add that things such as the fact that we don't have mass tourism, so we don't have the cruise ships, we don't have a lot of the chain restaurants or the chain hotels and all of those things which start to make other islands and other countries feel generic. When you go to the UK, and I could be in London, I could be in Birmingham, I could be anywhere, and you go to the city center, it's the same city center, all the same stores. You could be any of the same countries, but when you come to Anguilla, you truly feel like you're in a different place. When I come home, it's like everything just comes to a grinding halt. It really feels that way. You know, I come off the airport and I'm driving on the road and there are like no other cars on the road or something. And I'm thinking, wow, this is slow, but I love it. And I remember speaking to a journalist sometime back, and I think I mentioned it in a blog, and she asked me, she said it must have been pretty boring growing up in Anguilla. And I said it wasn't boring at all. It was different, you know. We didn't go to malls at all.
We had no malls.
we have no malls, etc. But it was just this awesome way of growing up because we were so free, it was so safe. You know, there was this sense of community, you know, which we still have. I know a lot of people say we're losing it, but we still have that sense of community because I know I can still go by Jarvis' house and he will give me something to eat. I could still go. I'm sure I can drop by Arielle when you have your Christmas outings and, you know, we will still get food. So all of that, people feel that and tourists feel that. And I think that helps to make us unique.
Nice.
And I completely agree, because when you're flying over different countries, you're flying over Canada, you're flying over Miami, all you see from the sky is buildings. You barely see any green. But when you fly over Anguilla, it seems untouched, like it has been there since forever and not much has changed. You can still see there's so much trees, there's so much land that is untouched, and that's what I think makes Anguilla different. Other countries have started that whole deforestation process, but in Anguilla we have a lot of green around, and I think that makes it different.
Yes, I agree with that. And when you said flying over Anguilla, that brought back a memory of me flying back into Anguilla and looking at the sea and how beautiful it is. It was so picturesque. It was like a painting, and I didn't believe that like Anguilla had so many different colors in just one little area. It was awe-inspiring, you could say.
And I'm glad you said that, Clem, because I like how every now and again I hear someone from Anguilla who's lived here all their life, and they would be like, you know what, Anguilla's a really special place, you know, like it's beautiful. And the fact that sometimes you can just take a step back and realize, wow, we are really lucky to live here, you know, regardless of what people might think. Yes, we have our problems, but there are problems which can be solved. And I think that's what we need to do moving forward as we talk about tourism's future and Anguilla's future.
Next, remember you can catch these episodes and all episodes of YouthSpin on YouTube, and you can find us at youtube.com/YouthSpin. Also on Facebook. What's our Facebook page, Miss Rebel? I know you know our Facebook page, YouthSpin AXA, and Instagram, YouthSpin AI. So we'll go to our second dance break, and I'm gonna throw a question out to our guests. I don't know, so you guys can think about it for the dance break. You got a question? What's your question? You don't have a question? Alright, let's go to the dance break. I don't have a question right now for our guests. I'll come up with one while we go to the dance break.
This one is for all of the hardworking people, Jamaican people. Some don't know what it feels like. We are work from 6 in the morning straight up to midnight. I'm here to tell you. You think it easy for barber stand up in the shop all day and nothing not one. You think it easy for farmer stay up in the sun all day applaud the farm. It no easy being a vendor nor a taxi man. No, you think it easy for stand up and watch you youth a cry for food for yam. But who feels it knows it. We are feel it from a little and a grow. Who feels it knows it. Sometimes you feel like we let go. Who feels it knows it. We are feel it from a little and a grow. Who feels it knows it. Only judge and know. Yeah. You think it easy if you know say early in morning landlord a come for the rent. When deep down in yourself you know say you don't have a cent. You know me feel it for the youth them when you have to sleep on that street. Them not care for the youth them and a long time me see it. So I won't feel it knows it. We are feel it from a little and a grow. I won't feel it knows it. Sometimes you feel like we let go. I won't feel it knows it. We are feel it from a little and a grow. I won't feel it knows it. I only judge and know. Yeah, the way the system set up, no help poor people no way. But poor people not a hustle and a fighting. All when we no like it, still working on and on. From dusk till dawn, so how feels it knows it. We are feeling from a little.
Okay, and we're back with a quick commercial break. YouthSpin is sponsored by the Department of Youth and Culture. The Department of Youth and Culture is the main public agency with responsibility for youth and youth development and the preservation and promotion of Anguilla's cultural heritage and the arts. For more information about the Department of Youth and Culture, please call 498-3792 or 497-0969 or email youth.culture@gov.ai. You may also visit the department's Facebook page at DYC Anguilla. And just a reminder to our listeners, you can contact us at our WhatsApp number 729-9410, our Facebook page YouthSpin AXA, and our Instagram page YouthSpin AI.
Okay, so pulling it back on topic, tourism in the future. It's been argued that our tourism product as it stands, the high-end tourism, is seasonal. So we're only active for about a good 5 months of a 12-month year. And it doesn't provide the opportunities that we can really be exploring. So one of the things that we were discussing in our groups, our census groups before we come to the show, is cruise ship tourism. And we have some statistics. In 2008, a record 11 million passengers were forecasted to come to the Caribbean region. That's 11 million people that came to the Caribbean, of which we saw none. And they didn't spend no money here with us. I mean, is that a market we can tap into and have it isolated to a particular area? Opinions?
I don't think so. I mean, we don't have the facility for that. How can there's no deep water port and I mean, then 3,000 people walk off a cruise ship, and what's going to happen,
But it provides so much opportunity. Exactly what's going to happen, somebody has to do something quick. So, it forces people into entrepreneurship maybe. Somebody may just turn into an ad hoc tour guide and take them to the hieroglyphics we were speaking about earlier. It provides opportunity for those other
3,000.
7 miles.
Yeah.
3,000 persons.
That's like 3,000. How many people live in Anguilla? Like 14,000?
14,000, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible, but, I mean, that's going to take some serious, like strategic kind of planning and building and all this kind of stuff.
Because it definitely took foresight. I mean, some stuff should have happened to prepare us for it, since in the past, but we can't look back. We have to look forward.
We do have, Chavez. Sorry.
Go ahead.
We do have cruise tourism at some level.
Very
very small. We are focusing on the more kind of smaller cruise ships, high-end kind of visitors. And those are the ones we are hoping to turn into repeat visitors. So, if they're coming for a day, we want to turn them into repeat visitors. But I also know effort has been made to reach day trippers who come into St. Martin as well. So to benefit from those same day trippers without actually having to deal with
the actual ship,
the ship coming in, all the other effects that's associated with having a major, numerous major cruise ships in port, for example. So we are looking at ways to target persons who come into St. Martin, letting them know more about Anguilla and facilitating trips for those persons to Anguilla as well. But something, if you want to think about cruise ships, that's something we have to look at long term if we're talking about major cruise ships. And again, it will depend on where we want to see our tourism product go.
Yeah.
So again, that's the discussion. Do we want mass tourism? Do you think
it's necessary though? Are you happy with what's happening? Do you think what we have now is working, the seasonal stuff where you eat well from November to March and then it's an issue?
I think it'll always be tough to convince people to come to the Caribbean in the summer because the temperatures start getting warmer at home and you feel less of a need to travel when you live in a place that's snowed in for 9 months of the year and then you finally get some summer. There's less of an need to travel, but I think that we can still appeal to people, because I think people have this concept of Anguilla in the summer as maybe being like 100 degrees, like Miami in the summer is terrible. It's like 95, you're dripping in sweat before you even 3 minutes out the door. But Anguilla's not like that in the summer.
Yeah, but during the summer we also have our carnival. We can use that as a marketing tool to bring people out. We can use sport tourism some other forms of tourism.
And it just might be a different visitor we're looking at. So in the So all of those things we will have to discuss in the summer. We might not be targeting necessarily the North American market.
And I
but
also
it's
heard
probably our
mention
regional
of-
visitors, our regional sisters and brothers. It might be another part of the world where it's
I
actually
heard
freezing
Central
at that time of the year.
Central America has winter during the summer.
Yes.
So that's a
Central and
market.
Latin America.
I heard
Yes.
someone speak about that. So the ways that we can expand on what we already have.
Yeah, and I think
So-
we definitely do. I agree. We need to move from the seasonal tourism, and that's where there's been discussion about 44 weeks.
4 weeks of
Christmas.
Yes, 44 weeks of Christmas, and that's an initiative which has been pushed for a while. I mean, we really haven't made any strides
I've
in it.
never heard of that.
We haven't made any major strides in it, but I think it's something that we need to be working towards. So it's basically having high occupancy and visitors coming to the island at least 44 weeks of the year instead of the 5 months that you spoke about.
Nice.
Yes.
That would be a great help to.
Yeah, we also see a lot of events coming up, like the Festival Del Mar and Festival de Noel, even the Valley Street Festival and South Valley Street Festival are all festivals that people are starting to go out to. Introducing them on a monthly basis could keep the inflow of persons throughout the year, I would say. By sparking that interest, you got our national sport, boat racing, but we don't see boat racing enough, I would say. In August you got your big hype for boat race, and then it all dies down, and then it comes back up and it dies again. We supposed to keep it consistent.
I think boat racing, I think that we should pay a lot more attention to boat racing. I think it has a lot of opportunity at boats. I think we should have, big screens on the beach where you can watch the entire race and not have to wait for the boat to come and add an additional level of excitement to it. I mean, the Department of Sports should really look into, investing in our national sport and having some cameras placed out there along the race route. I mean, that's something that should have been done a while back.
Yeah.
But,
investment
boat
into it.
racing can, you can really use it as a real.
Yeah, I was glad that you mentioned that, because sports tourism, everyone is talking about it. It has a bit of a potential to it, because we could have regional racing competition, boat racing competitions. And we had the Drag Racers Association here with us, I think it was show 6. And they were talking about having different meets. Once they have their stadium set up here, they were thinking about having regional meets, so they don't always have to go to Nevis or Montserrat or whatever country. We could bring it here. That would be a good form of tourism for Angola. What do you think about it? Anyone?
Back to the point about mass tourism, I believe that we have other avenues that we can develop before we go into that full-scale mass tourism. We can continue our small 300, 400 people cruise ships, but we have other avenues such as sports tourism, and I think a big one we forgot just now was the golf. We can have people coming here to play golf all year round. It's always warm. So that's a big part of the sports tourism here as well. Ecotourism to a certain extent. Our coral reefs, our caves. Also, youth tourism is a big thing that we can undertake. That was a topic that was brought up at this conference as well.
Sorry, not to cut you off. Can you expand on youth tourism? That was songs.
Okay, youth tourism was an idea first presented to me at CTO, the conference. That was actually a mystery topic, and they asked us if there was one thing you could have done or one thing that you would implement in your country that would entice youth to come to your country, because there are over 2 million youth traveling year round. So developing things like youth tourism would be a good thing in your island. So I was thinking we could develop that and show youth that we have places in Angola that can accommodate them, like La View, the Ice Bed and Breakfast, that it isn't that expensive to travel. And they can still have fun on this tranquil island, even though they're college students with debt. Something
A spring break facility?
Yes, things like that.
Oh. I know that was discussed, if people weren't too fond of. That would really put an end to the tranquility rafting.
Not really. To an extent, spring break to an extent. A smaller crowd, not like a hub like maybe Miami, but a smaller version that we can still tap into the market.
That's fun already.
Next,
Carnival times 2, probably.
question. Our next question to the audience: what steps could we take now to improve upon our product as it is now? What steps, if you were in charge and you can make a decision that would shape some legislation that would, take steps to improving what Angola has and call our tourism product? What ball would you add to it?
I think Clemview is ready for this one.
Yeah.
It's ready.
Well, in terms of legislation, I wouldn't go to legislation just yet. We gotta go to our young people and let each one of them understand that they have such a strong influence on the inflow of the tourists here. Tourism is such a delicate industry, and if you harm someone, a tourist, do you know how many people hear about this? And especially through the social media and increasing in technology and stuff, news moves around much faster than it used to. So say a tourist gets treated badly in Anguilla today. By 2 minutes after that happens, 100 tourists know, 1,000 tourists know, and they say, well, Anguilla is a bad place. Do you want to portray a image of Anguilla becoming a bad place where crimes happen? Now, look at the connections between your family and your friends to tourism. You have a friend who has someone working in the tourism industry. Now, if they don't have the inflow of tourists, then someone's going to get laid off, and that could be your best friend's mom. But you, who went out and harmed someone, caused this to happen because you caused less tourists coming to Anguilla because they don't feel safe, which decreases the amount of money that you have, which then again, you did what you did to get money, but you're still causing the country to suffer financially and socially.
I think that's like a really important point. I think that's like the most important thing anyone's ever said in this room since we sat down, because tourism touches everybody's lives here. It's like the main industry, and if it, when those robberies were happening, what was it, last year, maybe 2 years ago, and it went on TripAdvisor, it went at Blanchard's and then at Little Bay. I mean, tourists were freaking out, saying, is it going to be safe? Should we come back? And so if somebody gets shot, that's terrible for the island. Like you said, it's going to affect your family in some way or another, or your friend's family.
I agree, because I can't remember who, they said, since Anguilla is so small, we all work in the tourism industry. Mm-hmm. We are all linked to what happened at our hotels, our inns, our villas. Mm-hmm. So really and truly, what you do now, it will indirectly affect something else, which will directly affect the tourists, and then what will we do? Yeah. I wouldn't say tourism is Anguilla's main industry. To me, it's like the only one,
you're right.
The only fully functioning thing. So if we lose our tourists, what do we have?
Yeah, and I think just to build on that, I mean, one of the things that we've talked about here is how tranquility really defines Anguilla, and part of that is feeling safe when you're here. It's a unique island in the sense that you can get in your car and you can drive around, and it's not like being in certain other islands where it's not safe to do that, right? So the minute you start to make people feel like they're not safe and they can't do that, then you start to chip away at what makes Anguilla so special.
Slowly but surely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyone has any comment?
Well, I agree completely with the last two speakers, and I would add, and Nori would have alluded to it at the beginning, that we need to work on our ports of entry and by extension our ports of exit. So our customer service, yes, is paramount, and we all know about the horror stories that visitors and the locals, because of course we should be treated well as well. We should have good customer service as well, experience good customer service. So we need to ensure that the persons that we put on our front lines or who are on our front lines are well trained. And sometimes some people, maybe they are not trainable, and I'm a trainer, so I don't even like to say that. But we have to start from the hiring process. So we have to choose the persons, even if it means we have to engage in interviews before putting them into those positions. We have to choose the persons who are best suited, persons who like to smile, persons who like people. Mm-hmm. It is so important. Persons who can relate, persons who can think on their feet and solve an issue before it even becomes an issue. And we've lost tons of visitors as well because of poor customer service right out of our ports. And I will say in the same breath, though, that I know the agents at the port have also said that their working conditions are not good. So if I was in charge of tourism, I would ensure that they had good conditions, because of course an unhappy worker is not going to be able to treat or willing to treat customers as they should be treated. So let's make sure that our internal customers are happy. So fix the ports, so both the blowing point and the airport, and ensure that there are places that persons like to work, and therefore by extension places where they can provide good customer service. And then other things such as restrooms on our beaches and ensuring that our beach vending legislation is enforced. You know, there are just so much things that we can do, small things, which I always say, we need to work on the small things before we can even tackle the big things.
Everyone just has to pitch in, and
Everybody has to pitch in, and then we will start to see gradual improvements in our product.
Nice. I couldn't have said it better myself. Femville?
Yeah, the persons who come into contact with our tourists on a daily basis, they have jobs like custom officers, chefs, and maids. They play a very integral role, and the jobs that they have are not jobs which should be a last resort. It's an honorable job because you're the one who will be ensuring that this country gets money in the long run. So if you say, well, okay, I don't have a job, so I'm going to go work customs just because I could get a job there easily, that's not the type of mentality that you should have. You should have a mentality that, okay, I am going to do this job. I'm going to do it at the best of my ability, because I am the first person that a tourist would see. And if they don't see a smile from me, then what would be their first impression? Because, you know, they say first impressions always mean the most to someone. So I guess we have to ensure that the persons who take these jobs understand fully the role that they play and how integral it is in the development of this country, because you are in essence feeding the people of Anguilla.
So we're fortunate tonight to have 3 gurus of social media. Am I okay to say by saying that? 3 social media gurus?
Yeah.
No? Yes? Can I say that?
Okay, sure, go ahead.
based on those websites.
I mean, I've been to your websites and I'm seeing what you guys are capable of producing, all 3. And do you guys have any tips that you can give somebody? I know you alluded to a unification of a marketing effort. Like, is there a way we can all social media, that market Anguilla, be unified in some type of way, some color scheme maybe? Maybe that's too much. But
I think that's something that's important. Like when we went to that rebranding meeting, Marvette Brito, she mentioned that Anguilla didn't have official colors or things like that that people can use, right?
We do have official
but
colors.
When she got here, well, yeah, I know. But for branding and those kinds of purposes, right?
That's colors. We want to brand those. That's what we want to do.
I brand
I love those colors. Orange,
Yeah.
you got orange, white, and blue. Turquoise. You kind of turquoise.
I'm sorry, turquoise. Yeah. You got it.
We don't have normal blue waters.
No.
Blue waters are
It's turquoise. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a difference.
Go ahead, Nori.
Well, I think she meant like a professional set of marketing materials everyone across different industries and key people like that can use. So I think just sort of getting the message straight first of what we all kind of want to represent and share with the world is important. Tips for social media. I think it depends on the tool you're using. If it's Facebook, it's where everyone's kind of there to hang out and they're going to spend a lot of time, so you don't necessarily want to put something that's really long and wordy on Facebook, right? Twitter is more about building personal relationships with people, whether it's a magazine editor or something more like that. So I don't know. There's just different conversations that you have based on what
we might have
you're
to get
using.
you back in here for
It seems like a hard question to answer in a few minutes.
If she saw like you're knowledgeable, we might have to use you for an entire show for tips on social media. So you say you have anything?
Well, you said how we can all work together,
just,
to be cohesive. Well, that's what you had said initially. And I know a number of persons have said, why can't we do more hashtags so that we can see Anguilla trending more? So I think Nori has tried it before and other persons have tried it. But if we were all on social media and we knew that this week we were going to be hashtagging Anguilla or something, beach or whatever it is, Anguilla beaches or whatever it is, all my Angola experience.
Nice, shameless plug.
We will all be on the same page, so we'll be all working towards a common goal. But as it is right now, yes, we're all a little
Doing
bit
our own thing.
doing our own thing, and it's still okay because we're still all just having a presence for Angola in the market. But we'll find that if we work together, yes, we will
can
start to
have
see a
larger
more,
impact.
comprehensive and more cohesive kind of whole.
Okay. Another question. We have some marketing gurus. Can I say marketing gurus too? What is our best source, our best outlet for marketing, for the type of clientele we're trying to get to? Like, where do you think we should focus our marketing efforts?
Well, I would say from a hands-on magazine point of view, because we have our social media, but it's always good to have the tangible evidence, something that you could feel and say, okay, this is what I'm gonna follow. This is my guide.
Where do you put those though?
We distribute all over the island to all the tourism agents, to the post office even, and some government offices,
But I
especially
think
the port.
by then they're already here though, right? Well, how do you get the tourists here?
But then again, one tourist who takes home one.
That's true.
They have friends.
Do you
That's
also
true.
have it online though?
Yeah, we're working on getting it online. That should be out soon.
I think I saw on Nori's page where your dad collects those magazines.
The Angola Life magazine.
Yeah.
That one maybe?
Yeah, so the same thing Convio was alluding to.
Yeah.
You take one tourist takes one.
No.
Suppose someone comes by your house and sees your collection, it passes on. So I
But
think
that's not the
also-
most. I mean, I think it's a good thing to do, and I think having more printed marketing material is great. Like with what you're doing and with what Trudy's doing with True Anguilla, right? I think that's tremendous, you know. But I think that also using the internet more would be,
Yeah, of
you know. I
course.
mean, just the Anguilla Tourist Board's website. Updating, keeping that frequent, updated. Even our Facebook page, the Anguilla Tourist Board's Facebook page, the likes are. I mean, it's a small number of likes compared to what
should
we
be.
could have. Yeah, you know, and the fact that there's still the old cover photo of like Feeling is Believing or whatever that one was, when we're still pushing Tranquility Wrapped in Blue, and you know, it just sort of seems all over the place a little bit, you know.
Marketing message is really disjointed, and
Yeah.
with this whole rebranding process that we're going through right now, because we haven't rebranded, I hope we haven't rebranded, that there will still be further consultation to happen so that we can all really be part of the process and that we can all buy into what we want to see Anguilla being marketed as. But I agree that it's going to be the internet. And we are all young people here, and a lot of you are a lot younger than I am. And I know that you spend a lot of time on the internet. Many of you spend a lot of time on the internet, and that's where the next generation is going to be spending their time as well, and that's where they trust the views of their peers, they trust the things that their peers like and what's not. And if you can generate, get thousands of likes on your page or on your Instagram, this awesome picture, and whoever it is, Miley Cyrus or whoever it is, and they come to Anguilla
and like remember what you were talking about with your friend walks into your living room and sees your magazine. It's exactly like that, but I mean
on a larger scale, on a much larger scale. When you're talking about people who have millions of followers, those are the people we want to ensure that they are the brand ambassadors for Anguilla.
And the Real Housewives, and
it's
those
funny
were good
because
moves.
we did a survey on our website finding out why people came to Anguilla. We asked the question, what made you come to Anguilla? 1% of people who answered that survey said TV. And guess which show they said of all the shows that we've done? 1%. First of all, 1% is small, right? That's, most was word of mouth, friends, things in like big magazines like Condé Nast Traveler and things like that. But guess which show was the show everybody said?
No.
The 1% people, the show
House
that...
Hunter.
Yep, that's it. Because it plays on cable, it plays on reruns. It's the exact market.
Yeah.
Those people at home watching that over and over again.
Those are the type of
people that
shows we
watch
should be
House
targeting.
Hunter.
Yeah, they're motivated to travel.
Willing and able.
Willing and able. Yeah.
That's important. The able part.
Able.
Because it's awesome to have thousands of people who want to come here.
Yep.
But the ones who can actually come here, those are who you want to talk to.
Real interesting comment. We had a real interesting mix of guests. Do you guys have any closing? Well, yeah, I know you have closing statements. So I'll start with Arielle. If you want to have any closing statements.
I just want to thank the hosts and organizers of YouthSpin for having me tonight. Just want to encourage the youth of Anguilla to remember that we are all tourism. You play a vital part in marketing our tourism through social media and through your behavior at home, your behavior in the society, your behavior when you come in contact with tourists. I just want to remind you to behave accordingly, treat our tourists with respect, treat our island with respect, and remember that tourism is we thing.
I don't think I can really follow up with anything that's going to beat that or top that. So I'll just say thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
It was so great to be here amongst such prominent young persons in tourism. I would just like to say to our listeners, I hope that you enjoy what we do in Anguilla.
I think it's important for us to continue to have discussions with young people about where we see or where we will see the future of tourism. And I would encourage all young people to continue to think about tourism and what your role is and how you can make a difference. Don't be discouraged. If you want to start a small business which depends on tourism, don't let anyone discourage you. You go for it, whether it's an online business, whether it's something like self-AXA or a blog, whatever it is that you want to do, just go for it, because tourism really is key. It really is our thing. It really is all of our business, and like Arielle said, it probably is our only industry. So you have to carve your niche when it comes to tourism. And if you really do decide you want to go into tourism, just do your best to just always be friendly, be personable, to make a difference and to make every visitor and every local that may come to your establishment feel welcome. So thank you for having me on the show. I would encourage persons to visit manguillaexperience.com, and I just want to wish the whole team best of luck with all your future shows.
Thank you. So just some quick youth news before we go. This is Tourism Week. Make sure you support in whatever way you can. I know there's a conference tomorrow.
A panel discussion.
Okay.
We're going to be hosting some students and junior ministers from St. Martin, and we will be discussing mass tourism tomorrow at the Tourism Board.
So yes, Tourism Week. And then we have an island-wide cleanup with the different clubs. That will be taking place on Saturday. Yeah. I think they're starting 6 a.m. Yeah, that's like really early for me. And then the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School Debate Society is having a luncheon. So please support. $10 includes your plate of chicken, 12 for fish. And just come out and support us. We'll be in the public library parking lot from 11 until 3. Okay, and digital media also has a raffle. The lab has a raffle, $5 per ticket, and December 15th is your drawing date. First place gets a Samsung Galaxy Tablet 3. Second place, Logitech speaker system, and third, Skull Candy headphones. And you can contact Akio or Ravi, right, Lloyd, and yeah, that's basically it. So thank you for listening, and on behalf of my co-host, we would like to say enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll go out with the song Smile Jamaica by Bob Marley. Thank you.
Smile, Angola.
Feeling out, feeling down. This feeling wouldn't leave me alone. Then it came a one that said, hatred, flying at the dread and smile. You're in Jamaica, come on and smile. In Jamaica, y'all, get it together, y'all. In Jamaica, get it together now. In Jamaica, y'all. Soulful town, soulful people. Said I see you're having fun, dancing to the reggae rhythm. Oh, island in the sun, oh, smile. In Jamaica, come on and smile. In Jamaica, y'all, get it together right now.
cast away that evil spell. Throw some water